Here we go. Another segment of questions. I think I like this. I'm just gonna set things up like this. So, why is it that black people have always been told that when something happens to us, when we are attacked, killed, murdered, when others inflict terror upon our communities, that we're told to pray? We're encouraged to be docile. We're encouraged to forgive. But white people, when terror is inflicted upon their community, they don't forgive. You don't hear any of that. You don't hear forgive. You don't hear pray on it. Jesus fix it. Uh, Jesus, God sees them and he's going to have vengeance, all these things. The only thing that white people do is pray for a victorious to be victorious. Why do we say to one another, or we just say, you know, pray, or we pray as if that is going to result in some type of vengeance outside of self, um, coming from something uh, within your lifetime, against the people who harm and hurt you or hurt your family or do heinous things. Um, like white people, I just wonder, like, why have we been doing that all these years? What, for the last 200 years or so? I wonder if I've read this slave narrative book. Actually, I'm not even finished because it's so hard to. It's not even a long book. It's probably like 150 pages, but it's just the content. It just really is hard to just digest. And it was a part in there where he said he had to hold down a 10-year-old girl while these white men, they were on the slave ship. There were some slaves stocks that they were bringing from Africa. And we all know the stories of how they packed us like sardines. So they brought one up. It's a 10-year-old girl. He had to hold her down while these men took turns on her little body. I wonder if he was praying then. I wonder if he prayed for, someone outside of himself to come and rescue him and rescue that child, or to enact vengeance and on behalf of that child against those men. I wonder if they thought they would see vengeance in their lifetime. I wonder when, and this is another story that um, I was told by my senior uh, uh, teacher, and as a senior, I was in this arts school, and so it's kind of a more of a liberal um, setup. So she said, during Black History Month, of course, but she said, among other things, and that's when I read the book Beloved, but she said that there were times that were called feeding times, and they would line black men up, different ages, boys, and they would make them kneel down, and they would rape their mouths. And some and there were numerous. It was very commonplace for the slave overseers, who are now police officers, that has transitioned into that. But they would do things as far as invoke fear or to break down our males. um, they would rape them anally. I wonder if they prayed then. I wonder if they went back with a ripped asshole, back to, their little shack and said, you know what, I'm gonna just pray and forgive them. I wonder if why that all through all of that, the things that they did, they still allowed the slaves to go to church on Sunday. And they gave them a white image. And they said things like, as far as being a slave and basically saying it's their fault for being a slave, and that someone, to pray to this white image for salvation from the very people that are surrounding them and making them listen and go to sermon, to hear these stories out of the same Bible, King James version. They all white people. They read out the same Bibles, King James versions of some sort. Same Bible. The white people, they're not docile. They've never been docile. They've always conquered and killed in the name of Christ or God and under this religion. They've killed, they've conquered. But then turn around and give this version to the people they've conquered and told them to be docile. And as long as you keep being docile, being docile and being good, and still, no matter what, you can rape my child, you can mutilate me, you can cut the testicle off my son's balls off, you can do whatever you want, you can shoot my child in the street. Not just shoot him once or twice, but just overkill. Like 30, 40 bullets into my child. But as long as I say, I won't get mad and something else is going to save me, something else is going to happen to these people, I'm going to somehow go to heaven, go somewhere else for sacrificing that, for sucking that in and holding that in. I just read somewhere that one of a survivor of the concentration camp said that the Nazis only used one bullet. The police over here use many bullets. They killed one bullet per Jew. They didn't waste. Why is it that, I remember growing up as a child, especially when Cops was, on TV, they used to show police actually chasing people that are running away instead of shooting them. I've seen people holding knives black people holding knives too, and they didn't shoot them. And then they didn't shoot them excessively either. I wonder if a law changed somewhere that said, you know what, we're not going to run, even raise our breath, raise our voice. If we have to do any of that, that's cause grounds for no trial, no jury. We don't, no investigation into if you did anything or not, or even was wrong or did anything wrong. We're just going to kill you right here and there. I just remember that. I remember that. Do you remember also when white folks was going around shooting up their jobs in post offices back in the day? I wonder if there was some type of push then for tighter gun laws around that time. I think I'm going to research it, see if there were some correlations to all that activity versus, what types of laws they were trying to pass back then